his bright right eye. Vitruvian Man. Why does what's left appear more dim? Could it relate to Leonardo da Vinci having entertained a hemispheric speculation? Once splitting equally the Vitruvian Man's circle, his head is found tilting to his right. It's been said to understand one best, look deeply or study closely their eyes. So why not too, or as well, for the Vitruvian Man? Why not look deep into his eyes? Has it yet been done sufficiently? The main query posed here is if one zooms in to closely view the face of the Vitruvian Man, his right eye can be examined to look comparatively brighter than his left eye. Are we to believe that Leonardo da Vinci, renowned for his highly detailed oriented craft, this man, created such optical asymmetry accidentally within his timeless enigmatic piece, the Vitruvian Man? I ran out of ink on the printer. Bright right eye, darker left eye. He's done it very meticulously. Even there's a sparkle, as there's a sparkle in anybody's eye, there's a sparkle in the left eye. The right eye, much more enlightened. Never seen such analysis before in any sort of YouTube video or academic circles. So are we to believe that Leonardo da Vinci, known for his highly detail-oriented craft, created such optical asymmetry accidentally within his timeless enigmatic piece, the Vitruvian Man? If not, then what's to make of such flaw, per how a clear disparity can be observed between the way he drew the man's eyes? So I wrote a letter around the world, to different academic. They basically all denied it. Well, they mostly did not respond. All the academic teachers at Harvard, Yale, all around the world, every university from Ireland to Scotland, or I don't know, 7,000 different places. Martin Kemp responded, and he said he's one of the top Da Vinci art experts of the Renaissance and so forth, including Da Vinci. He claims there's no hidden messages in anything. That's fine. But he might be right. But, I mean, hidden. This is not hidden. He says there's no historical evidence for any secret messaging. Secret messaging in any Renaissance or Da Vinci, anybody's art that he's looked at. But he said historical evidence. But then we got to get down to minutia and breaking down words. As many people consider the word history is his story. So this could be more a matter of semantics. Because that looks like it's not hidden, but like there's an inverted, the video will get into, that looks like an inverted equilateral. I ran out of ink on the damn printer. This looks like an inverted equilateral triangle, shaded around there, more dark around his left eye. Might be a hemispheric speculation. I mean, look at his eyes. Vitruvian Man, how many times have this image been flashed in front of our eyes? And here there's a line segment that's totally symmetrical from shoulder to shoulder. But here, there's a line segment. I think it's an indication. He did very sneakily. See, there's a line segment there, like a kind of a line thing. It's very interpretive, but look, line segment. It's a good close-up. It's almost good the ink ran out, so it can really pop out. Half ran out. Line segment, definitely a score marking there, but it's hidden kind of with his different things. Score marking there, but there's a line like here drawn there, but it ends there, and it's more faint there, and it blends in with the other lines, but like it seems offset. If that's centered and that's centered from there to there, then the midpoint would be here. That means his middle part is offset to the right, tilting right. Anyway, what does it all mean? That's the idea of this report. Who knows? Theory. 99.9% of science is theory, scientific theory. Law theory, differs around the world, theory. How else do we understand the world? But run around and say we know everything. That's not theory. That's insanity. I know everything, Newton, they said Newton knew everything, and then Einstein came along, disproved. Now they're disproving Einstein's. I mean, theory. We're doing our best here. So I write this letter around the world. To whom it may concern, my name is Craig Matheson. I live in the greater Toronto area. I am not a professional or expert in any institutionally accredited manner concerning the fields of study which are considered of a logical association to this report. Some background on what's brought me to this point, and following up on a compulsion to unsolicitedly share with numerous people around the globe. About 6 years ago, I'd suffered quite a trying ordeal. While appreciating any particular tale told can be tied to much broader story, granted each of us have unique varieties of as much per the happenings of life, and or per each unique walk along a respective path of Jungian individuation. Probably the greatest good guy, cared about people. One of the greatest psychoanalysts ever, arguably, theoretically. However, personally, in its wake of the trying ordeal, some interesting things manifested, seemingly resulting to simply enduring and trying to learn from the struggle, aka as revealed through experience over time, whereby a handful of humbling realizations inevitably were discovered and accepted as being fundamental as dark comes to light per an aspect of my life. The business of family. Again, part of a much broader story, as surely others could respectively relate. As much herein offered because shortly thereafter, in relative terms, following a sort of focused meditation upon a specifically related metaphysical question, after a bit, I'd then become somehow drawn or compelled towards seeking out the Vitruvian Man, VMan, for short, schematic, VMan, Vitruvian Man. While back then, given how I was, I'd only known the artwork by image, not by name. It was shoved in my face, as it was, not really explained, just like, this is so important, throughout my life. I was like, yeah, what does it mean? Oh, we don't know. He was like, some things we know. So I was like, I don't think you know. Maybe you do. Anyway, I didn't care. I didn't even know the name of it. When this image came to me after this meditation or prayer after family breakdown around 2018, around there. By the way, from such developments, certain things became apparently clear concerning Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, details offered below in this report, as the seeming process was underway. This email is designed to share some thereof with associates of what's figured to be concerning fields of vocational expertise, educated depths of knowledge, and or such sorts of personalized interest. Basically saying, whoever the hell is interested in this, go ahead. The following narratives discuss 4 different points pertaining to some anomalies noticed within the Vitruvian Man schematic, mixed in with some of my personal perspective commentary. First point, observe. By zooming in on the facial area of the Vitruvian Man, closely observed can be a brighter look to his right eye. I didn't do it, he did it. Contrasted against more darkness about his left eye. Very detailedly done. Look at that, there's sparkle in it. The best picture to look at is Wikipedia is, good on some things, not so good on others. Really, that's a good, you can pull up that picture, zoom in, really, really have a look. Leonardo da Vinci's timeless, enigmatic piece. So, just checking the time here. Trying to make it half hour, I don't know. 4 points. First point, observed. By zooming in on the facial area of a Vitruvian Man, closely observed can be a brighter look to his right eye, contrasted against more darkness about his left eye, possibly relating to the following 2 ideas discussed. 1, an artistic commentary pertaining, this is theory, theoretically, is it art theory? I don't know. Philosophical theory, metaphysical theory, brain, hemispheric speculative theory? I don't know. First point. So, is it possibly relating to the following two ideas discussed? One, an artistic commentary pertaining to so-called cosmic duality, aka such a duo of opposite, opposing, or counterbalancing polarities of historical notions to a mental universe, arguably before respectively referred to by each native North American cultures as light and dark. Hey, light, dark. Abrahamic cultures as good and evil. Chinese cultures as yang and yin. Buddhist cultures as eternalism, more circular. And annihilationism, I'll triangulate your butt. Anyway, we'll get into that. What the circle might mean versus the triangle. Greco-Roman cultures as above and below. Again, these are just the opposites. And New Age culture, positive and negative. And sacred geometric culture. There is such a thing as sacred geometry, apparently. It might be circle versus triangle, or sphere versus tetrahedron in 3D form. Circle versus triangle is 2D form. Anyway, can't make it. Leonardo couldn't make a 3D hologram 500 years ago, I guess. This is 2D, equilateral triangle, inverted, shaded outline. More highlighted here where I didn't run out of ink. Let's see. That's a dang. You can really make out an equilateral triangle outline there, and that's undoctored. Do you see the more circular shape there? That's more doctored. I outlined it. I highlighted it. If you see that, anyway. So, there. That's. Note, then I wrote in the report, it goes on, note, such notions may somehow connect metaphysically to a certain folk-like scene where an enlightened angel is depicted per comparative attempts for offering more sage advice into a human's right ear. Angel on the right shoulder, whereas a more devilish intelligence would thusly be there competing to give opposing counsel into the opposite left ear. Imagine a little devil, the old scenarios, little devil chirping in here, hey, take it. The other one's like, the angel's over here on the right, his right shoulder. This is him looking out his right eye, his right shoulder, little angel, hey, maybe not. Conflict. Has anybody ever experienced conflict? Maybe that's what he was. You think Leonardo da Vinci ever experienced conflict? Or he absolutely knew everything like any other idiot? We can all be partial idiots, that's the point. Anybody's capable of being an idiot, even him. So maybe, whatever, theory. Second point, second following possible idea related to the first point observed, the contrast, and or, related to a possible hemispheric speculation of which Leonardo da Vinci may have entertained 500 years ago, whereby such a cryptically embedded hint arguably towards such a considerably technical concept, thus would have been deemed worthy enough for inclusion, shrouded, or so blended within his Vitruvian Man. I mean, is that a mistake? Look at the detail. Pull it up on Wikipedia. If you wish, check it out. Well, perhaps back then he hadn't been so keen for taking such theories public in the face of a familiar authoritarian Catholic Church. Okay, don't want to get excited here. Well, perhaps back then he hadn't been so keen for taking certain theories public in the face of a familiar authoritarian Catholic Church. Do we hear of Galileo? Remember? Well, Galileo came out and he's like, hey, I think the earth, is round and we're not the center of the universe. I think it's the sun, think the earth, and they put him under house arrest, the Catholic Church, not the Catholic Church, people within the Catholic Church that said, we know everything, divine, blah, whatever. Anyway, house arrest. That was after Da Vinci was born before Galileo. So it took a while for these things to develop over time, where Galileo might have been more brave than Da Vinci on delivering certain theories, such as, talking about, maybe he had a speculative brain hemisphere theory, where now it's proven. Dr. Ian McGilchrist has proven the science that well, there's two brains. Da Vinci probably cracked open a brain. I think it's pretty clear. It's well known he did. He wrote, I think he did sketches on the brain having two hemispheres. He might have cracked that thing open, and we like, oh my, there's two hemispheres, and everybody talks about opposites, good and evil, devils and angels, or whatever. And anyway, he might have somehow speculated that like that, and if he brought it to the Catholic Church, they might have been like, hey, or maybe he did, and like he hung the Medicis were his benefactors, employer. They produced 4 Catholic popes during the 15th and 16th century. Maybe they said, go ahead and blend it into your artwork, but shut up, or who knows, because Giovanni Pico della Mirandola didn't make it past 35. He was dating a Medici one. Anyway, he was murdered. Most likely, I think he was, and he challenged everything against the church. He was just a bit too much. Da Vinci might have been more sensible. Galileo, later in time, maybe he was more brave, given the circumstances. That how the hell we have general broad strokes of these circumstances. It was a while ago, anyway. Yeah. So. Oh, the Medici produced 4 popes during the 16th and 17th century. Sorry, I wrote it down here. They were the employer of LDVinci, Michelangelo, and other sorts of Italian Renaissance notoriety. Within a context of scientific theory and/or such speculative development, the notion, now back to the report, the notion of such a hemispheric speculation, is here so proposed as an understanding that LDVinci would most likely have been aware that such a physical dual distinction to the opposite hemispheres of brain, not one brain, 2 distinct opposite hemispheres, granted the cutting work, pun intended, he'd done in the flesh upon human anatomy. Okay, we're at 17 minutes. I'm just gonna skip into you try and make this 20-minute video. The report, I'm only on the second page of a 13-page report. So I'm going to skip to this thing, which is, this one picture shows that if you split the circle, his head absolutely tilts to the right. No question. I mean, you can do it however you want. Try to judge the high point of the circle. It kind of matches up with a marking he kind of made there. Anyway, if you look at the point where the circle stops going up here and stops going up here, it's right about, arguably it's here. Anyway, I did my best. You do your best. Down here too, it seems to be in between where the toe hits the heel. It's hard to tell. Right about there. So I've drawn, there's 2 lines. There's a tick here. It's not quite there. I thought it was here, but either way, his head is tilting right. And if you match that with the idea that this little funny little line segment he drew there in the forehead as a possible indicator to something that is clearly there in the eyes. Oh, there's no hidden messages. Well, there's something there. I don't know if it's hidden. It's kind of in the open. Anyway, have a look yourself. And I'm going to try and make this under 20 minutes. We're at 19. 18 or so. A couple last points. If you look at this, circle and triangle, the Masonic square, the compass on top is capable of drawing circles. The carpenter's square on the bottom is capable, of drawing equilateral triangles. Circle and square. Circle on top, circle and triangle. And the idea of the circle might be the geometric shape for all that is absolutely good, as in halo, as in a halo around a head or an aura. And the triangle is more like, if you look at pictures of Aleister Crowley, I don't have it right here, but a couple images, the inverted orthodox, anyway, there's this. You can make an inverted equilateral triangle. You know, maybe that's a bit speculative. Orthodox Christian cross. Maybe a symbol of the physical world of some sort, geometrically. The hermetic caduceus, you know, are a great symbol for public health. They've been doing such a great job lately with the world and public health. Instituted by the Army about 100 years ago, the U.S. Army Medical Corps, controversially established it as a symbol for medicine. About 100 years ago, under controversy. This is a Wikipedia page on it. Hermetic caduceus as a medical symbol. What? 20 minutes. Oh, shit, I better. So the only inverted equilateral triangle you can make superimposed on the sketch is that one, which brings in this seemingly arbitrary scoring line at the bottom. What's the actual purpose of it? There's 5 tick marks here, 5 here, 5 more spread out here. But it serves as a center point of the only equilateral triangle you can superimpose on the sketch. In other attempts, only make isosceles triangles. I tried it there, like for sensible connective points. The sensible connective points, you know, where there's a connective point here, where there's touching, or any idea where you thought you could use to superimpose an equilateral triangle on it. Well, I tried this one, where his hands are touching the square, where they are here. But if you draw it to there, to the bottom of the circle here, it's in isosceles. These are the same length. These sides of the triangle are the same length. But this one's different. That's isosceles, when 2 are the same and 1 isn't. And you know, I don't know why, you know, I was just messing around with the thing. But if that's an equilateral triangle around his eye and it's inverted, because that's the only way you could. Again, this is accentuated or doctored. But this isn't, other than I ran out of ink. You can look at it yourself. There's clearly some shading there. But why? Why is it? Who knows? But, you know, but that's isosceles. I tried here. Whoops. I tried here, isosceles. You know, the same point to the up, where the touching is up there by the square, on the top of the square, not the side of the square. Isosceles. Again, that was isosceles. This was isosceles. On this connective points, just, you know, here. So you can experiment with yourself, print it off. I tried everywhere. And the only one, that's isosceles. And the only one that could come up was that one, where his hands are touching the square. You know, who knows what, but that's a fact. to there, invert, and it's inverted just like the thing around his eye. I'm throwing things around, a bit panicked to condense the video, right? So why? Well, anyway, maybe I'll do another video some other time, but it could be the idea of complete good. We all have good and bad in us, and maybe geometrically, good is like halo, aura, circular. I colored in yellow because, like, oh, you're right, golden light, and maybe the most basic behavioral shape you can act out on this planet is more geometrically symbolized by the equilateral triangle, like the pyramid, the Illuminati thing. The most basic geometric shape might be the geometric representation of evil or dark, or you know, the different terms that people of different cultures have used over time. Annihilationism in the Buddhist, dark in the Native American, evil, you know, in the Abrahamic, and so on. But who's all good and who's all evil? Right? We're all measures of each. So maybe the geometric shape of totally evil, and maybe that's representative of the geometric behavior shape of a left hemisphere, speculatively by Da Vinci, who knows? But if you keep adding equal length straight edge side, you eventually get to a circle. So, right, equal length straight edge sides, you add one more equal length straight edge side, it becomes a square. Do it again, becomes a pentagon. 5 equal length straight edge sides. Then add one more, it becomes a hexagon. 6 equal length straight edge sides. You keep doing it, eventually you get to an octagon, and the symbols starts circling out like a stop sign, right? It starts circling out. You can get you're only 7 sides or 5 sides gained from an equilateral triangle to an octagon. Starts circling out. Keep doing that. You get a ninagon, a tenagon, whatever these the terms are. Right? And you keep doing it. The sides get smaller and smaller. Like from an equilateral triangle to a square, the side got shorter or smaller, and then to a octagon, there's 8 equal length straight edge sides, and they're all a bit shorter, smaller in length than the equilateral triangle. They get smaller and smaller, and eventually you get a circle. So it's like, the idea, well, that's connected to, does a circle have an infinite number of equal length straight edge sides, just so infinitesimally small you can't even imagine it, or no equal length, no straight edge equal length sides at all? Because these are all, right, if you keep adding an equal length straight edge side, they get shorter. If they're equal, to a stop sign, octagon. If stop signs are mostly octagons, you got 8 shorter equal length straight edge sides. Just keep that process going, then you get a circle. Anyway, that's probably enough for now. What are we? 26 minutes.